So, hello everybody. My name is Ryan Matthew Harker. I am an author and comic book illustrator. That's my dream, anyway. This is what I would love to be. This is what I'm working on the hardest in my free time. I've been watching others make these successful YouTube channels, and they help promote them and their works, I guess. And so I'm just thinking maybe I need to do that for myself, and so here I am. I'm just doing a little practice vid. First comic I grabbed was one that I got out of a dollar bin here recently at a comic book shop in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. It's a really great comic book shop, actually. It's called Worthy Comics, and yeah, the owner, Adam, he is a very knowledgeable and extremely passionate about comics person. I've enjoyed talking with him a lot, and well, anyway, I bought this. He had a deal going. It was 10 $1 comics, buy 10 get 5 free. I thought to myself, well, for $10, can't pass up 15 comic books, right? I mean, I'm a child of the 90s, and well, there was no way you were getting comic books for that price off the newsstand. So anyway, I spent. He had a great dollar bin boxes. Several of them, stacked deep with comics, and I spent a considerable amount of time digging through them. And yeah, this is just one of many of the ones I got that day. Just here a couple days ago. Got a couple more, Archer and Armstrong, and well, I'm gonna talk. If this works out the way I want, then I'm gonna talk about this other one here, maybe even in the next video, because it's incredible. It's Melting Pot number 2. Melting Pot was a comic book done by Kevin Eastman, and I'd have to dig out my issue of Melting Pot number 2 or number 1, but number 2 is also with Eric Talbot and Simon Bisley. So the interiors, most of what I looked at were like all Bisley, and they're amazing. Like, you really just can't beat Simon Bisley's art. Really, you look at like all levels of it, whether it's in Judge Dredd or any of his painted work outside of that. Judge Dredd, it's good because you get to see a lot of his line art, and well, yeah, Bisley's an amazing artist. But anyway, I got this issue of Melting Pot number 2. Well, when I was at Worthy Comics, I did not realize what this was. I was just digging through the dollar bins, and I'd actually, gotten 15 comics, put some back, gotten 15 comics, put some back. And I was like, I'd been working all week over in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and I was trying to get back to Missoula, Montana, where I'm from, and well, where I live, and so. But I was like, I don't want to miss out on any gold, so I kept pushing through these boxes. There was like only 4 boxes, but they were deep boxes, and they uh, they had a lot of really good stuff. So um, towards the end, though, I pulled out this issue with this cover that was just amazing, and I was like, oh yeah, that one's definitely. I'm not even gonna pull it out. It was a bag too. Like not all of the comics in the dollar bin were bagged, and so I was like, I'm not gonna pull it out of the bag because I know I want this just because of the cover. It's amazing, and it had that hint of the familiar to it. And I, honestly, looking back on it now, I'm like, how did I not fucking see it? But anyway, I added it to the collection. When I got home, I ended up looking it up, and it was Melting Pot #2 with the cover. I'm still trying to figure it out because all the research I've done has been showing these painted Bisley covers for Melting Pot #2, and well, this one is here. Hold on, just a second. I'll pull it up and I'll show you real quick. Here we go. It doesn't have any words on it. I mean, I don't know if this. I was looking at the staples, like thinking, did the cover get ripped off this? But like, this is Melting Pot #2. I open this up, and there's the inside cover with all the comic information, all the printing information, everything, and it just really leads me to believe that this is the cover. And I don't know. Looking at it, I think it's Eric Talbot. Honestly, looking at it, but like at the same time, I'm like, well, is it Kevin Eastman? I'd have to look closer at some of my older issues of TMNT and really analyze it. But I'd say I'm almost certain this has got to be Talbot's work. And if I'm wrong, somebody let me know because I want to know. And I looked through the whole issue and I didn't see anything that said who the cover artist was. But anyway, Melting Pot #2 from oh, now I'm gonna have to open it up and look at it because it's not Mirage. Was it? Shit, was it Mirage? No, it's Kitchen Sink. Half was like, I knew it's not Mirage. Yeah, it's Kitchen Sink Press who actually does this, which was a kind of a, not a subsidiary, but just like a little sister publication to Mirage. And yeah, anyway, this right here, just say 15 comic books for $10. It's like about 75 cents an issue. This is worth it right there. I'm gonna mess with my lighting here a little bit. See if maybe that's a little bit better. I feel like that did dim it down just a little bit, maybe a little too bright. Anyway, so I got this Archer and Armstrong. Barry Windsor-Smith. He was always one of my absolute favorite artists. When I was 7 years old, my pretty sure it was 7ish. My older brother, he's 15 years older than me, and he came back from the Navy. I'm almost certain it was while he was in the Navy. He came back from wherever he was, and he brought me 3 issues of Conan, 2 Conan Saga, I believe they were issues 5 and issue 7. I have them again, not the originals, but I went back and got these comics again because they're childhood nostalgia. And well, that was a Savage Sword of Conan. I don't know. I think it was 97 maybe. I can't remember. It was a fully painted cover with this like vampire woman on it. Uh, Very orange, bright, sun tones. And regardless, I fell in love immediately with these comic books, these comic magazines, and I can't ever forget to this day how they made me feel. They were just amazing pieces of art. It was like maybe the first time that I'd ever been exposed to art. And at that age I didn't even realize it, but like looking back on it, it's like, I think that might have been the first time I'd ever appreciated art. And well, I fell in love with it, and like as I grew older, I realized who the artist was, Barry Windsor-Smith, and anyone who knows anything about comic books knows that Barry Windsor-Smith is the GOAT. So anyway, I like to grab up the stuff as I find it in the wild, and here's Archer and Armstrong, number 11. Well, it looks like Solar is paying a visit here. Pretty striking cover here. It's classic Barry Windsor-Smith. Great stuff here with his rendering. He's got a very distinct rendering style. It's almost impossible not to know that it's him if you're looking at it. This background right here, though, I mean, this is freaking phenomenal. Like the sunburst, effect we've got going on here it's just like it like draws the eye down to the focal point, while at the same time blasting out, away from the focal point. That's good stuff. I really like it. I just want to give a quick shout out to Robert Norton, who his videos are going to be probably very similar to this. At least start out with, because I don't know what I'm doing with my channel. All I know is, I got to do something. I have to take my love of comics to the next level somehow, some way. So this is what I'm thinking I might do, and well, here I am. I'm doing it. But anyway, he's an inspiration. His channel has helped drive me to make mine, and I'm watching it. Like, the channels I watch the most are Robert Norton, Cartoonist Kayfabe, and Rob Liefeld's new channel. I've been watching his stuff as it's popped off in the last few weeks. So I mean, like, that's a pretty esteemed company all around as far as I'm concerned. And that's what I want to be a part of. I want to be a part of these people who have a love and a passion for comic books like no other. And I want to attract like-minded people who, also have a love of comics and, want to see the comics medium elevated to its highest possible self. And yeah, anyway, this is amazing cover. I really love it. I was never a big Valiant collector back in the 90s. That was when I started, really getting into them. I'm a 90s child. I was born in 81, so it was like, early 90s. I was like you know, at the primed adolescent age to enjoy comic books. And yeah, I always enjoy talking to myself. And you know, honestly, this kind of reminds me of that. You know, I'm just talking to myself. I have not read this issue yet. I didn't know how serious I was going to be when I started this. I just, you know, put my equipment together and kind of like got the software turned on and was like, okay, here I'm going to do a test. And well, now like I'm getting into it and I kind of feel like this very well could be the first video. So, yeah, here we are. John Floyd inking. I'm not familiar with who John Floyd is. If anyone else knows anything about him, you know, put something in the comments, I guess. Let me know who or what else he might have worked on, because you know, I don't care who you are. Like, if you're inking Barry Windsor-Smith, that's pretty affluential, you know. And yeah, so Maurice Fontenot is the colorist. You know, like I said, I haven't really looked at these to really know much about the color, honestly. I don't know if it's, you know, this is still some, you know, it doesn't, what year was this? 93. It's like, it's not quite newsprint, but it's not the gloss that we come to expect for comic books these days, paper wise, you know. But colors are on this page are like pretty good, you know, they got good contrast. But as you look through them, I mean, it's like stuff's kind of muddy, kind of washed out a little bit. Maybe is it just me? I don't know. But anyway, I know nothing about. I really know nothing about Archer and Armstrong. I profess to be a Barry Windsor-Smith fan, but I've never really got into Valiant, and so I don't know much about Archer and Armstrong. Yeah, but the art, I mean, it's amazing. It's Barry Windsor-Smith. How could it not be? Like this robot looking guy right here. Yeah, definitely a robot. He's, you know, got some great, like, the reflective quality. It looks like they're maybe at Stonehenge here, and they're doing a tour. I don't know. I haven't read it. Maybe when I read these, I'll do a you know, more in-depth video on them. But I mean, look at this right here. Talk about Barry Windsor-Smith with his robots. Let me see if I can move my arm down closer to this. No, I'm probably not going to be able to without really janking shit up. There, you know what I can do though is I can raise this up to it. There we go. Look at that. Look at that robot. That is some really great art right there. Just one panel. And I mean, look at that. I can't always draw a robot that good. You know, some days I'm like, oh, where's my art at? I mean, I've made my own comic. Now I'm working on my own comic. It's called Ridiculous, and well, as you might imagine from the name, I would hope, because that's what I'm going for, it's ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, great robot. Maybe Norton's angles right, and using my cell phone might be better. My webcam seems to want to fluctuate a lot with the focus. So anyway, moving on here. Let's see what else we got. There's a bunch of I'm not even sure who Archer is and who Armstrong is. I want to say, like, is that Armstrong? Is that Archer? You know, this guy looks like to me like he could be either an Archer or an Armstrong. All right, let's do a little reading here. Hold on, let me see. I feel like I should know this. So. Okay, so here we go. Mr. I's brother, the redoubtable Armstrong, has been no help at all. He has consumed 3 entire bottles of red wine, and I fear has become quite tipsy. Well, here we go. This is the guy with the bottle of wine. He seems alternately moribund and bemused. So I'm going to take it that this guy is Archer, or Armstrong, which is, you know, where I was going in the first place. And here he is right here again, drinking his wine. So, also the colorist, you know, look at these colors, and if you, hold on, let me get a good, was it Robert Norton was doing a video about Ninjak #2 here recently that I watched, and he was asking about the color, I think, in the beginning of that video, and I immediately latched on to the fact that I think that issue was done in alcohol marker. And, you know, I look at this, and, you know, I kind of get the same feeling. I wonder if Valiant colorists weren't at this time using alcohol markers. And, you know, the only reason I feel like that is because my favorite method of coloring is with alcohol markers. I've done a lot of different coloring, and you know, that is my preferred method of choice. I'm actually working on the cover for Ridiculous #2, which I've posted off and on my social media. But I mean, here, let me just kind of, this is colored in alcohol marker. You know, well, mixed media, but mostly alcohol marker. And so it kind of reminds me of, you know, some of that type of coloring. And yeah. So anyway, Valiant and alcohol markers, if anybody knows anything about that, please let me know. I would like to learn more, because honestly, I wasn't into Valiant in the 90s, but the more I look into them, like, the more fun some of them seem to be. So, oh, and here's Solar. He's just popped into frame here. Oh, hold on, let me pop my camera back into place here. There you go. Oh, now you can see my boxer shorts. Well, that's too bad. Hello everybody, I am recording in my studio in my boxers, just in case you didn't fucking know. So, there we go. That's a little better. Well, there we go. Square it up. So anyway, Barry Windsor-Smith, I've heard that he did some solar at some point, and I'm wondering if it wasn't just in these Archer and Armstrong issues, or I feel like I saw some solar books at one point that had, solar on the, Barry Windsor-Smith artwork on the cover. But look at this with the eyes in the visor there. Like you don't see that anywhere else, but when you zoom in on it, yeah, like I said, I don't know anything. I couldn't tell you jack about this whole story, but oh, Turok. Now here's another one. This cover, this is pretty awesome stuff right here. Bart Sears. Man, I don't know what ball they dropped that Turok walked away, or that Bart Sears walked away from Turok after, was it 2 or 3 issues? I don't know. I've got like the first 30 issues or something, and it's definitely gonna be one that I bust out in my channel here. But Bart Sears revived Turok, and I'm gonna tell you, like, I wish I could see more of his work on this book. So anyway, let's see what we got going on. Man, I wish there was some way to get this to focus in a little better. Well, I hope it's not too terrible for you folks at home, because bear with me. This is going to be my first video. I'm going to fine tune this, and it's going to become better. So anyway, Solar, the inimitable Dr. Solar has arrived. He arrived. Armstrong, you around here, fella? Fella. I don't know, when I see this character, I don't think of him as being the type to say fella. You around here, fella? And never had I seen such a dynamic entrance. All the more reason to not think about fella, right? So here, but I'm gonna show this a little bit closer if I can. Look at the background of Solar as he flies in from wherever he's at. This right here, you can't tell me this is an alcohol marker. I mean, all of it. I mean, I maybe I'm way wrong. I could be way the fuck off. I don't know. But that kind of, if it's not alcohol marker per se, then it's some kind of ink blending, and I love it because that's my favorite. I've always been an ink artist. I love ink, and when I was a kid, like my goal was to be a comic artist. I started really, getting into comic books. Well, obviously I said when I was 7 years old, but like the first newsstand issue I bought was X-Force number 8, I believe, and I bought it at Amboy Market in Amboy, Washington, and like from that point on, though, I was hooked. Like, yes, I really liked the comic books, and I enjoyed Barry Windsor-Smith's art, like, without realizing it when I was 7 years old. But once I bought that issue of X-Force, I was hooked. That was a Rob Liefeld issue, and like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of haters for Rob Liefeld, there's a lot of lovers of Rob Liefeld, but at that point in that era, that issue, little 8 or 9-year-old me, however old I was at that time, just latched onto it and was like, I love comic books. So if nothing else, that X-Force at that time made me love comic books. So thank you, Rob Liefeld, for being your part of that. Oh, here we go. Here we go. We got Secret Weapons. What is it? This is 94, right? That's what we said this was. 93? 93. So this is 93. Deathmate came out, and I actually have all these. When I stopped collecting comic books when I was a kid, and started just now as an adult again recently here, and like a few years ago. So I'm gonna be 44 this year, and but I started like eBaying like all these like lots of comics, trying to like get to see and enjoy all the stuff from the 90s that I didn't get to in the 90s because I was young and I was poor, and like there was just so much to be had, and well, poor, couldn't afford any of it. So Deathmate's one of them. I got all the issues. I even got all the little extras, and I think I'm only missing one or two, maybe, of like little pamphlet-sized ones. But yeah, Secret Weapons. I don't know anything about this, but we got Bloodshot. We got Solar. Oh, I feel like I know this guy, but I don't know. Exo Manowar is there. Shadow Man. I don't know who these guys are. I don't know who these guys are, but anyway, yeah. So Solar's continuing to talk to Archer and Armstrong. We got some woman here. I had me knickers down me ankles. Oh wow, really just jumped right out with that, didn't you, girl? It's perfectly alright, ma'am. That's Solar. Dr. Solar is a true Galahad. Yeah, I'm gonna have to read this. Hold on. Let's go back here. Who did the story? Oh yeah, Bob Layton. I forgot I was gonna mention that earlier. Bob Layton was the editor-in-chief of he jumped over from Marvel to Valiant. I'm pretty sure he followed Jim Shooter over to Valiant at that time, but yeah, I don't know who did the story. Doesn't say. Was it all Barry Windsor-Smith? Did he do the story of this too? Not just the art? I don't know. Anyway, let's see what we got here. We'll keep going here. We're almost done with the issue. They're in some Stonehenge area. I didn't mention that. Look at this. The bus is driving through the stone. Stonehenge is a portal to somewhere from somewhere. Oh, look at Armstrong's not the only one drinking the wine. He's like, hey man, you need some of this too. What's with the long face, chum? I tell you, man, I got a serious case of the jitters. Yeah, phew. What's to be nervous about? You've hopped through time before. For you, it's practically recreation. I don't know who this guy is he's talking to, but time travelers, like time, we'll get into that a lot in this channel if I keep on going with it. Oh, that's Jimi fucking Hendrix right there. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on in this that I have no idea what. But anyway, Archer and Armstrong get taken off by Solar. We got some more stuff going on. Oh, here we go. Quesada doing some XO. That's some good stuff right there. I really like that. Anyway, so yeah. Alien 3 on the Genesis. I never did play that game. That's another thing I like to do is, emulate these old games that I never got to play when I was a kid either. So, yeah. Archer and Armstrong number 11, and this is my first attempt at a channel. I hope it wasn't like, terribly boring or ridiculous for, everybody out there. And I hope someone, got some kind of enjoyment or, satisfaction from listening to me ramble on about comics. And yeah, my name is Ryan Matthew Harker. I'm doing this for Pocket Dimension Comics, my imprint, from which you can, order, my comic book, Ridiculous. Issue 1 is out. I'm almost done with the cover for issue 2, so it'll be out here very soon. I'm also an author. I have a trilogy of books that I'm working on. Book 1 and Book 2 are out. It's called The Werewolf Chronicles. Werewolf Chronicles Book 1 and Werewolf Chronicles Book 2 are both out. And you can find them on Amazon. Or you can order them straight from me. Pocket Dimension is its own publishing company as well. And I handcraft my own paperbacks. Yeah, if you order them from me, you will get them handmade, one of a kind, original, dedicated to you, numbered, signed, the whole 9 yards. You're not going to get that from Amazon. And, the price is comparable. So, anyway, do some research. Ryan Matthew Harker, I'm the man, you're the man, and we're the man too, Let's make comics, and let's make comics great again. Not to intentionally quote Trump there. That just kind of happened. But, if he were to be a comics fan, that is what I would hope to hear from him. Let's make comics great again. So, I'll see you next time. Thank you.